There's a great deal of excitement leading up to the 2024 season, and things will be radically different the following year. Several clubs are about to undergo significant changes that will bring some entirely new players to the grid. Not only that, but there are also rumors of a shocking firing hanging over one driver whose year was filled with great disappointment. We're going to explain all of the grid's adjustments for 2024 in this video, so you know exactly what to anticipate for the upcoming season. Let's get started. Formula One's Sprint Weekend format, which has appeared 6 times this season, is scheduled to change before returning to the 2024 campaign. While most people are in the center and other individuals are huge fans of the sprint format, how can Formula One improve it? In an effort to give spectators more of their money and spice up the weekend with more competitive racing, the sprint format was added in 2021. Following 3 sprint weekends in each of the 2021 and 2022 season, the format was logically changed to eliminate the connection between the sprint and the Grand Prix, with each now having its qualifying, and substitute the second practice session with a standalone sprint shootout, qualifying on Saturday morning. For the 2023 season, the number of sprint events was also quadrupled to 6. An intriguing scheduling decision placed the final 3 of them throughout 4 race weekends at the end of the season, the last of which took place in Brazil. What are the most likely changes to happen in 2024? Though views vary around the paddock, almost everyone agrees that some fine-tuning is needed, and that seems almost guaranteed to occur during the winter. The way the races are now scheduled, there's too much time and activity that transpire between qualifying on Friday and the race on Sunday. I think it needs tweaking a bit more because even my dad, who's quite the Formula One fan, sometimes says to me, "So just remind me, is it qualifying on Friday and then the main race?" Stated Tom McCaulett, performer director of Aston Martin. And I just believe that the fans will become perplexed if someone at that level has questions. Our task is to retain the intensity of 2 races while putting it in a better, more understandable manner. Additionally, there is drive to find a method to loosen Parc Fermé rules that come in after just one 60-minute session, especially from engineers. There's also debates about the sprint shootouts format since, at the moment, SQ1 and SQ2 require the usage of fresh medium tires before SQ3 allows the use of soft tires. Each sprint shootout session segment is likewise shorter than it is during regular qualifying. Could we see a reverse grid in F1? Making the sprint reverse grid race is one idea to liven it up. It's unclear if the championship standings or the qualifying sequence should be reversed, but that would be uncharted terrain for Formula One. Some drivers are open to competing in reverse grid races, which are a feature of other motorsport categories like F1 Academy. The best sprint race I've ever had was when I started last, and so I'm in favor of the reverse order, Hamilton stated. Nevertheless, the 7-time world champion issued a warning. Unless we had that, then everyone will just try to qualify last. By flipping the order of a qualifying session, which also determines the grid for one of the 2 normal races in the series on a race weekend, F1 Academy circumvents that problem. However, by adopting the same strategy, F1 would lose the sprint shootout and return to having only 1 qualifying session. Moving to the next news, Ferrari's chief reveals drastic change coming to the engineering team. Ferrari team chief Frédéric Vasseur has revealed a huge engineer overhaul coming to the team in 2024. The Maranello-based squad has been struggling to put in the required performances so far this season and is currently in 4th position in the constructor standings. Naomi Schiff of Sky Sports F1 stated, "I think a reverse grid could be an option in just having 1 qualifying. Make the Grand Prix qualifying the qualifying for the sprint and reverse the order because everyone will be going full throttle in that case." Driver for Ferrari Carlos Sainz is advising patience with a format that is, comparatively speaking, still relatively new to the sport. Says the Spaniard, "It wouldn't bother me since Formula One is now using the sprint format as a bit of an experiment. I believe we should continue testing different formats to determine whatever works best." Moving on, Mercedes has faced several difficulties this season, and while it has been on the back foot versus Red Bull, the advancement it had planned to achieve with the W14 has not materialized. It quickly realized that, in comparison to competitors who are running considerably closer to the ground, it had miscalculated the general concept of the car and had tried to run its aero platform too high, giving away too much speed. The team thinks that simplifying the strategy significantly for 2024 will pay off and enable George Russell and Lewis Hamilton to challenge pacesetter Red Bull on an even playing field. The task at hand appears to be enormous, though, given Red Bull's overwhelming performance in every race this F1 season with its benchmark RB19 car. Red Bull has probably been able to get a head start on the development of its RB20 because it had a significant lead during the current campaign and hasn't needed to introduce a number of significant developments. The history of Formula One demonstrates that powerful teams may sustain their advantages for years at a time. Typically, the only thing that shakes things up is a change in regulations, as demonstrated by the 2021 floor revision that benefited Red Bull and harmed Mercedes. It is therefore extremely difficult to expect Red Bull's competitors to be able to catch up if the rules remain unchanged until 2024. Toto Wolff, the manager of the Mercedes team, believes that the current generation of cars has demonstrated that a significant shift in fortunes can occur if squads manage their needs effectively. At this point, I believe all we need is a step that McLaren and Aston Martin have taken together, he said to Question from Motorsports.com on whether it was reasonable to anticipate that the gap at the front would close by 2024. You get to return to the game after a 5/10 update, not a 2/10 one. Therefore, I believe it is feasible. Toto Wolff has acknowledged that Mercedes has a difficult road ahead of them in Formula One in order to contend with Red Bull racing dominance in 2024. Mercedes failed to win a single Grand Prix in 2023, meaning they missed out on a Formula One world title for a second year in a row. Toto Wolff, the team's principal, is aware of the enormous task that lies ahead in 2024 as the group attempts to catch up to the dominant Red Bull racing squad, as the team failed to win a single victory. Compared to their outstanding success in prior years, this is a dramatic contrast. The Brackley team's team principal, Toto Wolff, addressed the media in Abu Dhabi, talking about the team's goals and obstacles going forward in comparison to the all-powerful Red Bull team. Wolff discussed the difficulties caused by Red Bull's racing conduct in light of the recently implemented rules. He stated, "Red Bull started these regulations in 2022 with a massive advantage and was able to maintain it. We have a lot of respect for the achievement of the engineering side of the driver. Beating them under the current regulations is against the odds. That's clear." Mercedes narrowly secured the second position in the constructors' race, with Ferrari trailing closely behind. But Wolff was more interested in what McLaren and Aston Martin have been doing lately. Considering how well the customer teams performed in moving up the pack through multiple upgrades, he saw them as Mercedes' model. Wolff provided some details on Mercedes scheduled for the forthcoming season. At the same time, we've seen with McLaren where an update unlocked a lap time, or the AlphaTauri coming strong at the end. Aston Martin over the winter that there is a key to unlock dramatically more performance. And I think us taking the honest assessment that the car is never going to be good enough to fight for a championship, we've decided in spring that we're going to go back to the drawing board and come up with something new next year. But Mount Everest is in front of us. With Red Bull now 2 years into the potent concept, it seems unlikely that Mercedes will be able to, starting from scratch or as close as it comes to that, match the performance of the mighty RB19 and its successor next year. But fans will be longing for someone to make life difficult for the Milton Keynes team, with Max Verstappen having the most dominant season ever recorded in the sport. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video and found it informative, don't forget to hit that like button below. And if you want to stay updated with more great content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel by clicking the red button and ringing the notification bell so you never miss any future content from us. Your support means the world to us.